beginning of my video. Boom!
Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer! Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things. It was over in a snap.
We really want it. Alright, we'll be nice.
Only you can be a Patreon.
Oh my gosh!
You don't need to follow the show to be hyped.
All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews, Boring Land. Nick here.
Gabe, man, that was quick. You didn't even give me a chance to set up. I'm getting ready to come in. I'm like, no!
Now you can position yourself. But you're not going to snake me. I'm super excited for this reaction because this has been requested quite a few times, and I've been waiting for Gabe for our schedules to merge so we can react to this trailer. This is a Malayalam film called Angamaly Diaries, and this is a film I'm pretty sure by Lijo Pellissery, who did Jallikattu, amongst many other films that are from Malayalam. And
Right.
You know what's cool, Gabe, is I think it was this director that was part of a long list because Steven Spielberg backed out of the new Indiana Jones movie, which I'm not sure how I feel about that because the last one was so bad. But he backed out of doing it, and they're ready to make it once this whole pandemic's over. So they had this whole long list of directors they would like to see take the helm of Indiana Jones. And this guy's name was on that list.
Wow.
The only Indian director that was on that list, the only director that, most people probably would not know that are outside of India. So he's very widely respected. And this is one of his films, like I said, very heavily requested. So I'm excited to react to the trailer. It's got subtitles, which thank goodness it does. And I know nothing about it. I think it has something to do with crime, which is why they wanted you to be part of it.
Criminals. Okay. I'll tell you, our audience probably thinks that, you know what I mean, I'm like a criminal. I just grew up in I literally, if you ever watch the movie The Bronx Tale with Chaz Palminteri, I grew up in that neighborhood. As a matter of fact, my older brother went to Theodore Roosevelt High School. I went there for 1 year before we ended up moving from that area. But I grew up in New York, late 80s, early 90s. And I remember seeing all these mafiosos and gangsters. So I was just, you know what I mean? Immersed in that lifestyle, so to speak, seeing it any which way. Not that I was in the Italian mob. I'm the wrong pigmentation for that. But, even with that said, think about when we grew up. The best movies of the early 90s, okay? Scarface, The Godfather. Actually, Godfather's like late 80s. The Godfather, Scarface, Carlito's Way.
70s, brother.
No way. Is it that? Or I thought it was like early 80s.
They had a second one in the 80s, and the third one was in the 90s. But yeah, the first one.
Okay, so Carlito's Way, Casino, Goodfellas. These are some of the movies I grew up watching. So how could you not be a fan of these guys? You know what I mean? But I'm a very law-abiding, boring citizen. Okay, my biggest crime is probably not throwing the clothes in the clothes hamper or putting down the toilet seat. The wife always gets mad at me about that.
Biggest crime? I don't know. You might have like 10 tied for first if we ask Savannah.
Well, honestly, my biggest crime is being a Knicks fan because that's just a crime against humanity. Oh God, the Knicks.
And they ruin a great name as well. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, man. Do you know why they're called the Knicks, by the way?
Knickerbockers.
Knickerbockers, good. The New York Knickerbockers. Knickerbockers are this turn of a century term for like, it was like kind of a stocking / pants, right? That they used to wear back in the day. So,
I just made it sound like my name, and they're ruining that. But they have the silent K. So let's go ahead and jump into this. If you are new to Boring Reviews, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out some other reactions we have. But I will go ahead and count us down this time.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
അമ്മിക്കല്ല് വെച്ച് ചതച്ചിട്ട് ആ മാങ്ങന്റെ അടുത്ത് വേണം എന്നിട്ട് ഉപ്പും മുളകിട്ട് ഒരു പിടി പിടിച്ചാണ്ടില്ല സൂപ്പർ ആയിരിക്കൂടാ.
That was good.
really good.
They make me hungry. Guy looks like Zac Efron a little bit.
Ooh.
Jeez. Breaking some bones.
Oh, throwing down.
അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള ചീലെടുക്കുന്നത്. എന്നാലാണ് സ്പാർക്കിംഗ് ഉണ്ടാവുള്ളൂ. സ്പാർക്കിംഗ്.
Oh, don't look now, Gabe. Some romance.
എടാ ഞങ്ങൾ ഈ അങ്കമാലി കിടന്ന് ഇത്രയും പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട് ഇതുവരെ പോലീസ് കേസ് ഉണ്ടാ.
Jeez.
Whoa.
നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ലൈഫ് ആയിരിക്കില്ല ഇനിയാണ്.
ഒരു 35 ലക്ഷം രൂപ നമുക്ക് ഈ പ്രശ്നം തീർക്കാം. ഇതൊരു കച്ചവടമാണ്. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ലാഭം കിട്ടുന്ന വിലക്ക് ഞങ്ങൾ കൊടുക്കും, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ലാഭം കിട്ടുന്ന വിലക്ക് നിങ്ങൾ കൊടുത്തോ. ഇതേ
അതൊന്നും ഉറപ്പാണ്.
കളിക്കാൻ ആൾക്കാർ ധാരാളമുണ്ട്, കളി നടത്താനാണ് ആളില്ലാത്തത്.
എന്നോട് ഞാൻ പലവണ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്, ഈ ചെയ്ത കൊട്ടേഷൻ അവിടെയുള്ള നാടകത്തേരും കേസായിട്ട് എൻ്റെ മുമ്പിൽ വരുന്നു. നമുക്ക് 2 കഷ്ണം പോർക്കിറച്ചൊക്കെ വാരി തിന്ന് 2 സ്മോളൊക്കെ അടിച്ച് ഇങ്ങനെ നൈസായിട്ട് അങ്ങോട്ട് പോയാൽ മതി.
Such a random place to stop. Wow. Okay, so what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are I am super confused. All right. Now I know that you mentioned that this director who did Jallikattu as well, he takes the most random things and creates a film around it. So it seems like because of the dialogue and some of the things you saw happening, it might just be, you know, a random event and he's building a story around it as to what I understood. Okay. What I right away picked up, and you mentioned this about Jallikattu, some of the shots were really, really cool, you know, and even though it was a small thing, but like when the kids smash the mangoes or whatnot on the ground and then pick them up and they're putting what I could only imagine is like some kind of spice. We do the same thing. And when I say we, my family, Savannah's Mexican, they put tahine, which is like a Mexican kind of spice on top of all the types of fruit, spicy fruit. It's awesome. I love it. I can't eat fruit without it now. You know what I'm saying? I'm addicted to this stuff. But in any event, just some of the shots were really, really crisp, really, really, really clean. And visually, you could tell that there's some cool shots in there. As far as the story's concerned, I have no idea what's going on. It's like Tenet. Have you seen the new Christopher Nolan film Tenet? What's going on?
Or the trailer. Yeah,
exactly. Nobody knows what's going on. Same thing. I'm super confused here, man. Shed some light, oh wise one. Help me out here.
I have no light to shed. I did not do any research on this movie. You know, for some reason, the title Angamaly makes me think of animal for some reason. And so I don't really know what's going on. It seems almost as if this guy's trying to start his own gang or his own crime foundation, organization, whatever you want to call it. They're talking about getting money together and getting some weapons together. And he tells the girl, just like we heard in Begot sing, you know, it's not going to be good hereafter with the kind of life I live. So it'd be really interesting. You talk about shots. There was that really cool shot of that one guy in that robe or whatever, jumping over those guys in the stairs trying to get away. That was pretty cool. Just like when they were punching those guys, it seemed like he was trying to put forth his presence in that town. And that whole fight scene that we see at the very beginning was kind of the beginning of that, where he just starts doing the punches. They start throwing rocks and whatnot. It definitely seemed like something over my head that I did not understand. But I do trust this guy. I do want to check this out within good time. It did not pique my ultimate interest, I must be honest. But I'm sure with a lot of people that did not watch before watching the trailer, they probably weren't blown away, besides knowing that they liked the director.
I'll tell you a funny story, okay? An embarrassing story right now. You're talking about throwing rocks, right? So when I went to the Dominican Republic after I was older, I was all Americanized, for lack of a better word. So I stuck out like a sore thumb. Everybody knew I wasn't from around there. I'm wearing, Jordan sneakers and whatever, and basketball jerseys and stuff that I didn't understand, but in that country at the time, like $1 American was like 18 Dominican dollars. So, you're wearing $100 pair of sneakers, and bro, that's 18 bills. You know what I mean? So, in any event, I should say, I went to the basketball court to play basketball out there with some of the local kids, and I got robbed, dude. The dude was like, "Oh, I want those shoes." I was like, "Yeah, well, come get them." And then he pulled out a machete, and I was like, "Here, let me take them off for you." True story. Listen, my family still clowns me about this story because they told me don't leave the house by yourself. And I'm like, man, I'm from New York, man. I go where I want to go. So I went to go play basketball at the court. They jacked me for my sneakers. All right, true story. So I go back with my cousin. And my cousin's like, well, we're going to go get your shoes. So we go up there or whatever. And my cousin's like, hey, who took my cousin's shoes or whatever? The one dude had the shoes still on at the basketball court. You would think you just rob somebody and you leave. No, he's still up there playing basketball with my shoes on. So my cousin pulls out his machete. So he says, aplanazo o acatetazo, which means basically you want the sharp end, the business end, or do you want the dull end or whatever? So they tied themselves at the wrist, bro. And they went with the dull end of the machete, and they're just whacking each other on the ribs until the first guy drops. You break ribs that way. But, if you use the business end, it's a lot worse. And I'm like, bro, a pair of shoes ain't worth it. My mama sent me one in the morning. At the time, I was only like 14 years old at the time, 13, 14. I didn't want no parts of this. So whatever, that ends. We get the shoes back. So now the whole block was against our whole block. Here's where the rock throwing thing comes in. We're sitting in front of the house. All of a sudden, I hear so, bang. And they yell out, bombillito. And I'm like, what? And my cousin grabs me, ducks my head under the car that we were in front of. And all of a sudden, you just hear rocks. It was a sneak attack of rocks. Bro, a rock will kill you. A rock going fast enough, dude, I didn't realize it was busting windows, hitting stuff. And, dude, rocks and weapons out in the Dominican Republic. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't leave the house for a week, bro. I was calling my mom like, you're gonna get me killed out here. I promise I won't do what I did. Never gonna tell you guys what I did. They get sent back out there, but I won't do what I did. Send me back home. I need a ticket ASAP. Needless to say, she left me out there for like a year, so I learned my lesson. But bro, that was one of my first experiences out there. And when you mentioned, throwing the rocks, in a lot of these countries, specifically where weapons aren't readily accessible like they are here in the United States, where you can pretty much go to any ghetto in America and find a gun or a knife, rocks are their weapon of choice, man. And you think a rock, bro, let somebody throw a rock at you with some good, speed behind it and catch you in the head. They're going to split you wide open, man. And I've seen some gnarly rock fights, and I was like, yeah, I want no parts of it.
Rock throwing is in all countries, man. When I grew up in California, we had this big field outside my neighborhood. And, when you're bored in the summer, you go out in the field with your friends and you dig holes or you do stuff. And we had these, there was 5-on-5. 5 kids didn't like each other. 5 kids did. I was 11, 12, 13. And we decided, it'd be fun to have a rock war. And we got on both sides of this area in the field. And we just started throwing rocks like a snowball fight because it didn't snow where I grew up. One of the dumbest things I ever did. We did it like 2 or 3 times. Luckily, no one got killed doing it. But we were, we had a rule like it couldn't be bigger than like a baseball. But we were throwing these rocks at each other without like really any protection. Kids do stupid stuff, my friend. Stupid stuff.
Growing up in New York, I'd never heard of rock fighting before I got back to the Dominican Republic. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, no pair of sneakers is worth that. You can keep them. And my cousin, it was so funny because afterwards I would not wear the sneakers. And my cousin was like, bro, wear your sneakers wherever they know you with me. He's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to get into another skirmish over a pair of Jordans, bro. I was walking around in sandals like everybody else.
That sounds insane, my friend. That would be a huge culture shock for me. Well, let us know, without giving away the movie, let us know what this movie is about. And so we have a better understanding before we jump into it and check it out. Also, let us know where it's available so that we can check it out, whether it's Prime or Netflix or whatever. Let us know. Don't forget, right here, I'm going to put my link for our Instagram. I always forget to put that on there. Check out our Instagram. I always do different games about guess what we're watching right now and different posts or whatever. So check it out and become a part of our Instagram page. And, once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. But Gabe, do you have anything else you wanted to say before we sign off today?
Not at all, guys. Enjoy the weekend. We've got some cool videos coming up this week. Cricket Tuesday video. I'm really excited about doing that one. And a couple films that we've already reviewed. What's the next one we're supposed to be doing, Nick?
We reviewed 2 that should already be posted by the time we post this reaction, or maybe in between. But coming up will be Rang Di Basanti will be one of our most recent next films that we review.
So look out for that one, all right, guys? But until next time, same bat channel. We know all things.
Adios.